Is there a such thing as a truly independent artist? We're going to give a breakdown, but first of all, we're going to hear what Joe Budden has to say about the quote-unquote independent artist. And we're going to take that ride and we're going to go a little bit deeper, and we're going to tell you all the difference between an independent artist and a person that is signed. Let's go.
Some of you niggas that think y'all signed to TuneCore don't know TuneCore is owned by fucking
Such and such.
you niggas is standing on false ideologies. Just fighting for non-existent virtues. We was on E1 talking about independent. E1 was Atlantic. It was.
So unless you're direct to consumer, you're not independent?
Yeah. If you are not direct to consumer, you're not independent.
I know you like, why is Joe Budden saying that? Okay, TuneCore is a platform where you can make your music and distribute it on their platform without going to the majors, right? Well, it's a little backstory to that. Now, TuneCore is owned by Believe Music, but guess who owns Believe Music? It's Sony Music. So really, is TuneCore really independent? Now, this is what Joe Budden is talking about. Now, we're going to go into the other platform, DistroKid. Now, DistroKid is owned by Philip Kaplan. But guess what? Spotify has a stake in that. Now, who has a stake in Spotify? Warner Music Group, Sony again, and Universal Music Group. Not to mention, even Morgan Stanley got a hand in this. Man, it gets wild when you go down this rabbit hole. And this is what Joe Budden is talking about. He couldn't really talk about it on the show because he have other topics to talk about. But now you see why he said what he said. And the payoffs on the streams are even more wild. Just listen to Rsonist from the Heatmakers as he talks about the Spotify payouts. Listen to him.
Universal Records makes $51 million a day. I don't know if you knew that, right?
I believe it though.
Universal Records, about 30 to 40% owner of Spotify.
I heard about that.
How is anybody independent? How can you call yourself an independent artist? You still giving money to Universal Records when you're on Spotify.
That's a fact. That's a big fact.
How is anybody independent? You talking all this independent shit. We're in the worst place we have ever been as musicians right now. All the advertisement dollars that Spotify makes, Apple Music makes, whatever, right? We're supposed to get a portion of that. We don't. We've been getting the same money since they've started, right? Their advertisement dollars have gone up 20, 30 times since then. Why are we still getting the same this mythical number that they made up? What's the value of a song? Nobody could tell me this shit for years. What is one song worth in the digital world? A stream. What is it really worth?
Now let's go to CD Baby, the other platform. Now they're owned by AVL Digital Group. And AVL Digital Group is owned by Downtown Music Publishing. And they also have companies like Song Trust, which is one of their divisions. Now you see how it is all tangled up. It's like an entanglement. And let's not forget about Tidal. Now Tidal is majority owned by Block, which was formerly known as Squarespace, Jack Dorsey's company. Now, Tidal was always connected to, Jay-Z and Beyonce, but the majority owners now are Block. And now you see why Joe Budden said what he said.
Nothing wrong with partnering with anybody or working for anybody, but it is a monopoly game and you should be trying to figure out how to exit.
How these companies are set up, it is very similar to a monopoly, because at the end of the day, is this company truly independent when they are owned by a major? And one example that I just showed you and that I just talked about is TuneCore. TuneCore gives off the persona that, they are for the independents, this, that, and the third, but they're owned by a company who is owned by a major. And this is why Joe Budden said, is he really an independent? Now, with Joe Budden, it's very similar to Dame Dash. They want you to focus on his past and what he's doing, his antics. They're not trying to get you to focus on what he is saying, because you can actually check it for yourself to see that what he is talking about, he is telling the truth. Now that I gave you a breakdown of the streaming services and the streaming service platforms, let's go into the charts. I say Billboard, it's the same way. Let's get into it with Dorian Group 82. He gives a thorough breakdown of Billboard. Listen to him as he gives a breakdown of Billboard.
The Billboard charts are a pyramid scheme. We're going to start at the top of the pyramid. It starts with a person named Todd Boehly. Todd Boehly got rich from banking and investing. You can go look up his Wikipedia page. I think it's how you pronounce his last name. I don't know. But there's a specific company I want you to look up that he owns called Eldridge Industries. What is Eldridge Industries? Eldridge Industries is one of those multinational conglomerate financing, proprietary investing bullshit companies where they just hold and invest in a lot of stuff. And I ain't saying it's bullshit, bad business. They obviously do exceptional business, but it's one of those companies that has their hands in on everything and we really don't know they exist. And they invest in everything. They own Cirque du Soleil, the LA Dodgers, the LA Sparks, DraftKings, asset management firms, some gynecology clinics, real estate, all types of stuff. But the one thing that we're gonna focus on in this video that they own is MRC.
But before we do that, let's listen to Todd himself. Listen to Todd as he breaks down how his companies are ran.
So I'd like to start off, Todd, by asking you to tell us about Eldridge. Explain to us how it operates and what it does.
So simply put, it's a holding company that makes investments. You know, we have a team of about 85 people that sit at Eldridge, and we oversee a platform that has about 40 billion of assets, and it's got approximately 7.5 billion of market cap. So, you know, we're continuously looking for new businesses and entrepreneurs to back.
What is MRC? MRC is a company formerly known as Media Rights Capital, but now they're under Eldridge Industries. And MRC, they got MRC Film, MRC Nonfiction, MRC Television, MRC Live and Alternative, and they got MRC Media and Info. Why is any of this important or relevant? Because this company was founded by Mordecai,
Last name Mordecai.
and they own a litany of media entities. Ozark, House of Cards, Think Like a Man 2, all media outlets that Todd Boehly owned. And there's two things that MRC owns I want you to pay attention to: The Hollywood Reporter and Billboard. Remember, Billboard is not just a chart. Billboard is a magazine. And what's the goal of magazines? To sell subscriptions. That's how they make money. MRC data is what people use in the music industry dating back to the 90s to keep track of album sales. So my local record store in Indianapolis was called Karma. They are reporting their sales numbers independently to MRC data. Obviously, it became digital, became a lot easier for you to report that, and they can connect it to the UPC, the QR code, whatever it is. But I want you to realize that this is self-reported independent data. Everybody was cooking their books back then. Everybody.
Well, the industry is tied up to corporate in one way or another, and it goes back to that old saying that Q-Tip said on Check the Rhyme. Industry rule 4080. Record company people are shady. Like, share, subscribe.